Hi, friends. This is your pal Scott Garibay, and today I wanted to talk about American politics, and I want to talk about what's going on with Donald Trump because boy, is it wild. This is really fascinating, and I think Donald Trump is incredibly difficult to understand. But I think I got it, and we're going to walk through why President Trump's presidency is good, even though some bad things are happening. All right, let's get into it. What is happening with American King Donald Trump? Well, the biggest thing that's happening is a ton of things are happening, right? Like the Kennedy Center, and both Canada and Mexico, and bending the knee, frightened of tariffs, agreeing to immigration changes. Oh, also, Europe waking up and going, "Oh yeah, maybe we have to have our own um, army. Like we can't just sit back, throw a couple million, to buy uniforms every year, not improve weapon systems, not do real military, and just expect, oh, America will run in and save us as soon as there's a real villain, right? And so Europe is waking up and saying, yeah, we have to, like, they weren't even paying their NATO dues. Like, they weren't even paying their dues in the organizations they were in. Like, they were like, oh, America will take care of it. We don't have to do anything. And really taking advantage of us. And Donald Trump has changed all of this, like, just overnight, right? And showing that real change can happen so fast that that the press can't even cover it. Right now, the reality, the reason all this is happening is Steve Bannon's flood the zone plan. Right, but a better description of that came from Slate Political Gabfest, and they talked about it as the everything everywhere all at once, right? Everything everywhere all at once. And that's really what's happening with Trump. Is he has completely transformed the world, um, and things are changing. Right now, are those things good? Oh, crime massively down. Okay, I suffered horrible crime during Biden's term. I've not suffered any crime during this term. That's good. That's fantastic, right? War, like there was war constantly during Biden's term, and now wars are starting to, there just isn't a space for it, right? Like uh, Trump's in, and he's like, hey, everybody settle down. Like, you're just gonna be shooting rockets all the time, right? Um, Although it is tough to set, it is tough to tell what's happening with war, because war was so voluminous and so constant during Biden's term that it got to the point where they didn't even cover it, right? Like at the beginning of the Ukraine war, they were like, oh, 4 hospitals were knocked down today. At the end, they were like, well, a bunch of missiles shot, in a bunch of different nations. Who knows what happened or how many people were killed? Everybody's at war. Everything's terrible. Everybody's dying. Like, but it's just Biden. What are you gonna do? No, you don't know. What are you gonna do? Right? And that was Biden's term. It was like, oh, what are you gonna do? You can't do anything. The U.S. president isn't powerful. He can't change anything, right? And it was just this rope-a-dope ridiculousness that people believed. This myth that was widely believed that now is completely dead, right? And so, but so what are the things that are uh, what are the things that are changing that are bad? Well, I'm pro Ukraine and I'm pro Zelensky. Donald Trump has completely abandoned Zelensky and is treating him like a criminal and lying about him. That's terrible. I don't like that. That is abominable. I really don't like that. Right. Um, so so do I regret voting for Donald Trump? Absolutely not. And here's why, right? The thing is, the changes that are happening are not, some of them are the right changes. Some of them are massively wrong changes. I think what's about to happen is that um, Vladimir Putin is going to get land for invading Ukraine. That is a terrible lesson. It tells every tin pot dictator in the world, hey, go get yours, right? Like, penetrate halfway through the country and then you'll get to keep a quarter, right? That's a terrible lesson, right? That's not a good thing to happen, right? But it is better than what we had under Biden. And here's why, right? So basically, what has Donald Trump done that is going to last for until the earth burns, right? I can't say forever. I'm a Christian. I know that this earth will be destroyed, right? Says so in the Bible. So what he has done that is going to last until this earth burns, right, is that the president of the American president is outrageously powerful. The idea that the president doesn't have the power to change anything he wants at any time is now ludicrous, right? Because Trump has proven it. The American president is not just an American king. He is king of the world, period, end of sentence. And he can make any nation in the world bow at his feet, period, done, right? So any president who comes in and does nothing and lets things happen, the American people will be like, no, we're not going to accept this. We know the power of this role. You can't just sit back and do nothing, right? You have to do something because we've seen it done. We've seen an American president who did so many things, we couldn't even write the list as fast as he was doing it, right? So you doing nothing is not acceptable. And this is historical. This is the historical change, right? Yes, I would much prefer if America was supporting Zelensky right now and supporting Ukraine and was crushing Vladimir Putin for killing Ukrainians. I would much rather have that. But I wasn't going to get that under Biden, right? Biden did nothing. Watched as Vladimir Putin murdered people, right? So here's the issue. Yes, there are changes that are happening that are bad, right? But the historical change here is that forevermore, the American people know that the American presidency is the most powerful role on the planet. It is more powerful than the Roman emperor. We have the power. The American president has the power to change anything at any time, period, right? And so we don't have to sit back and accept a president who does nothing ever again. President Trump delivered that, right? Now, with that said, I also want to talk about Obama because this is an echo of what happened with Obama. I voted for Obama twice. Obama made two changes to America that I felt betrayed by. Two massive changes. Massive. Two specific laws, right? One, he changed the law. The other, he decriminalized it, right? And I stood against both of them. I thought they were terrible changes. And in both circumstances, he at one point says, I stand against this. I stand against this for both things. He's like, no, you don't have to worry. I stand against that. He decriminalized one and he completely 180'd the other, right? Terrible changes that completely went against everything I wanted. Do I regret, electing Obama twice? No. And the reason why is I live next to, I'll tell you why, right? The day Obama was elected the first time, I went to the Wawa, right? And I will remember this till the day I die. They have newspapers just sitting over there near the coffee, or like actually near the checkout stand. So I checked out. At the time, you still paid an actual person. You just didn't check out with a plinth robot, right? And I got my change and I walked over. And this elderly black man was standing there and he was looking down at the paper and he was stunned. Like I could see it on his face, it said, President Obama wins. And he couldn't, he was frozen, right? Because he was so shocked that something that he thought he would never see in his lifetime happened. I live next to a city that is, it's had a rough history and it's mostly African-American people. And I'm positive that every night 330 or 300 mothers in that city tell their African-American sons and their African-American daughters, someday you can be president, right? And before Obama, that was a lie. That was an outrageous lie that had no evidence. 42 white presidents in a row, right, said that was a lie, right? right? And now that is a reality. Anybody can be U.S. president. An African American, an Asian American, a Native American. I'm Native American. I'm from the Mattaponi tribe. I don't know if I'll see a Native American president in my lifetime, but I believe it can happen. I believe that a person of color can be the president of the United States of America because it's happened. It's a reality, right? And the reality is, it really is important that we have this situation where people can know that a person of color can be president of the United States of America. We know that now. I don't regret electing Obama twice because he changed the world forever. And it's the same with Donald Trump. We will never have to abide a do-nothing president ever again. And the idea that anything can't be changed in a single day by the American president because they have the power to do it, if they have the will to do it, we don't ever have to abide a do-nothing president ever again. And that is worth the price of admission on President, American King, World King, Donald Trump. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.